Hello, Minecrafters and Redstoners. I am Natanos Likens. How is everybody doing today? I hope you are having a wonderful 4th of July weekend. This video will probably be out and I will be working, so yay. All right. What are we doing here? Why are we in my creative world? Well, recently I had a comment on my last How to Set Up Crafters Part 9001 because apparently I keep having to explain this, and it's okay. This is perfectly fine. So Pex_MC said, "Thanks for explaining it again. Silly face. One problem I can imagine with the crafter getting filled quicker as the clock pulsing it, that over time it will break. At the least, at the latest, when the hopper filled all spaces, there's no pulsing anymore. Am I wrong?" Well, yeah, he is right. However, that is generally not going to happen. And basically, what he's saying is with this little setup right here, if this crafter here, so basically, what he's talking about is that this crafter right here will eventually get filled up with all of the ingots and eventually not pulse anymore because there's too much in here to continue sending a signal through. That's what he's worried about. Well, first and foremost, the crafter itself is what is controlling the input, not the hopper. It's something kind of weird that they did with the crafter, and the speed of which is very, 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 very slow. And it's actually, in my opinion, a little bit slower than the hopper, but is not slow enough to cause the hopper to back up. Unless you're like using a hopper minecart to fill it up quicker, then yeah, it will. But as far as the crafter is concerned, this will never get full enough to not work anymore unless there are circumstances outside of the setup. And we're going to go over that. But first, let me show this again for anybody that is new and still doesn't know, like, how to use a crafter and everything. We're going to give you a few examples, and then I am going to talk about one use case where it has the potential to cause exactly that problem. But that is one, like, niche use case. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's let this hopper go, and you will see that these are coming in, and it is going to start crafting blocks. And you will notice that because of the speed of this, it's never going to fill up faster than it can craft. Even if this barrel is full, it's still going to spit out the block, and you're actually going to be losing items at that point. And I can even demonstrate this again over here. This setup is actually making glowstone. So instead of all 9 slots getting filled up, we're only using these 4 right here, and it will do exactly the same thing. This setup is exactly the same as that. And I can show you right here that yes, we're still moving at the exact same speed as the other one, and we're still not having an issue. It is crafting just fine. It will not break. It will not overflow. It just works. To quote Bezos, it just works. Um, However, it only works with single craft items. Let me say that again. It only works with single craft items. So if it's a single item that creates another item, it will work with that. So that's why I have this board here to give you kind of an idea. So redstone dust into redstone blocks, nuggets into ingots, and ingots into blocks, diamonds into blocks of diamonds, glowstone dust into glowstone, quartz into quartz blocks. Only single items. It's the only time it ever works. Now, this setup is a little bit old. I've actually done a slight tweak to the setup, and we're going to quickly go over that. That is over here. The only tweak that I have made is we are now using 2 repeaters right here, and it is a much slimmer style that we have gone with here. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a little platform that's going to be 3 long. It's going to be 3 wide. You're going to put 4 blocks, just like so, and then another one right here. You're going to put whatever your storage item is. If you're using chests or you're using barrels, you're going to put it right here. If you got this hooked up to another system, it's not going to matter. This is where all your items are going to go in after they are crafted. So we're going to stick right here with a crafter right there. facing into the barrel. We're going to put another one right there. This one doesn't really matter which way it is facing. Then we are going to take a redstone comparator. We're going to put it right here. We're going to go ahead and right click on it, and that's going to put it in subtraction mode. And then we are going to put another comparator right here coming out of this one. Now for this one here, we're going to set this up in a very simple way, and it really doesn't matter. You can do this in any kind of format that you want, but we are just going to click on 8 of these, any 8 that you want. Basically, we are sending a signal strength of 8 through this comparator into that comparator. That is what we are doing, and when this crafts whatever the item is, it will be a 9 signal strength. Again, the combination that you have here, it does not matter which one of these blocks is empty as long as you have exactly 8 filled in. It does not matter. So next we are going to take the redstone repeaters, and we're going to put one on this side of this comparator and another on this side going straight into this crafter right here. And then we are going to go with redstone dust 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. And that is the circuit basically complete. So after this, you're going to take whatever it is that you are trying to auto craft, and you're going to funnel it into there with whatever system you are using. For now, we are just going to go just like that, and you can see this is an exact duplicate of what I already have sitting here. And that is a very basic redstone crafter setup to craft whatever it is that you are trying to make. And again, this is specific to whatever the item is, and it needs to be slightly different depending on if it's a full 9 craft or even like a 2x2 craft. And the only difference is with the 2x2 craft, you're just going to go in, you're going to fill in 5 of these blocks right here, leaving a square right there for the items to go in. You can see that this is still going, still has not broken. So how do you break this? Well, there's actually 3 ways that you can break this. The first and most obvious way that you can break this is you're missing redstone, or even worse, redstoners, look away, redstoners, because I'm about to do this. Yeah, water breaks it. That is one of the worst possible ways you could actually break this, is if the redstone itself gets washed away or broken in any manner. That will break the entire system. The other possible way that you can break this, let's just go ahead, let's grab some redstone dust right here, is if you yourself fill this, you're basically going to cause it to where it's never going to pulse at this stage. And let's just go ahead and fill this back in to kind of demonstrate this. So it pulsed once, and now it will never pulse again. That's the way that you can break that. However, I do want to point out, while we are right here at this, so if I go ahead and I fill all of this in, and then I add redstone dust into there, look what happens. Yeah, so it's basically filling up that last slot, and it will cause the entire system to work. So as long as you don't overfill it manually, it will still run. Even if you do fill up most of it, it will still run on its own, no issue whatsoever. It is absolutely an amazing little circuit that I came up with. Now, there is one more possibility for how to break this, and that is the very, very stupid, whoops, there's another block in there. There's something that doesn't belong there. That's another way that you can break this. And that's pretty much it for this. Now, we do have a few things to talk about, and we have brought this up before in other videos, and then I've got to build another little contraption to show you another possible problem. The main thing here is that only works for single items. Again, that is single item crafting. Any one item that creates another item. Like if we're talking planks into stairs, or slabs, if we're talking wood into, actually wood into planks, maybe one of the use cases that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Hold that thought for now. But basically, anything that you are using to craft any other thing that is very simple, like stairs, slabs, and all of the ores into their various forms. It works for that. If you are trying to do a setup that has multiple items, you're going to need something more like this. There are many, many versions of this out here. We are not going to go into a tutorial on this because I've already done that. Like, search through my channel. You should find a tutorial on how to make this crafter setup right here. That this particular one, I believe, is this. This is actually dispensers. Yeah, so this one is dispensers that actually crafts its own bows. I thought I had. This one makes regular pistons. Okay, so there you go. This one makes regular pistons. This one makes dispensers. I figured this is more important for people. And you're going to need like some really, really, you're going to need red ropes everywhere to build something that can use multiple items in order to craft whatever the item is, like pistons, dispensers, droppers, and any other item that requires a lot of different blocks. Like anything that requires more than one type of block, you're going to need like a thorough machine built for that. Now, that we're done with that, let's talk about the other use case that is a little bit of a problem, and that's single items that make single items, like flowers making dyes, and as I mentioned, logs making planks. I do believe that there is a problem with that, and I already know how to fix that. If you try to use this setup for that and set it up like this to make single items, it may actually break. Let's go ahead and test this real quick because I'm actually curious whether or not this will in fact break. And I should have set up this beforehand. We're going to grab tulips. Yeah, we'll just grab the 4 types of tulips. We'll use these as a good example. Let's knock this out real quick so that we can do this. I don't want to go too many with these. So we're just going to break up those right there. And right here. And then this one as well. We'll only do these. So potentially this could also break. I'm not entirely sure, but I do have a solution for it already. I just want to test this real quick. Okay, so no, it's not going to break it. It is going to function just as well as the other version. You can see right there, this is going to work just fine. However, if you do have a problem with it, I do have a solution. And you can actually see that right on my hotbar. So we are going to do exactly the same setup right here. Exactly the same, only we are going to add a little extra over here. We are really only going to move a couple of blocks around. Actually, it's not even a couple of blocks, it's a couple of pieces of redstone is all we are going to change. And you're just watching me do redstone live on camera. I imagine there's a few redstoners out there that are jealous. Actually, you're losing a piece of redstone here, now that I think about it. So we can knock out those blocks. We don't really need them. We still need that so it doesn't interfere with this comparator. So let's just go ahead and click all those. And then we are going to do the same thing over here. And bada bing, bada boom. We got that set up right there, real quick, dirty, and ready to go. Now, this should work exactly the same way. And you can see that, yes, that is in fact working just fine. Now, this is already done. You can see that this did work, but if you are having like a latency issue with it, you might want to try the observer trick. It should function exactly the same and never cause an absolute problem. Now, I will say that the one thing I have seen with this system doing is this top left corner here, because this is the first slot that it is putting items into. Occasionally, what will happen, and that's probably because you've unloaded it, is that this first slot may end up with 2 items in it. And it's basically going to go through, it's going to go to here, send the signal off, and before it crafts the item, it's going to put another one right there. But it's going to craft the item, meaning that all those spots are now empty, and it's just going to continue putting the items in there, and it's going to be just fine. So the most you might see with this entire system is this slot right here having 2 items. All right, is that all good? Does everybody understand all that? Did I break anybody? Because it doesn't seem like I even broke my own redstone with the single item crafting. And actually, we're going to go back over here. We're going to do this again. We are going to grab logs before we go, just to prove a point. We're going to grab a couple of them that we don't want stripped. It should work just fine with stripped. We're just going to do this all over again. We're just going to go blop, blop, and blop. And you can see that this is still crafting the planks just fine, even with the exact same setup with one single slot in there. You can see that it is fast enough to keep up with the input speed. Just fine. It's going to work just absolutely amazingly. So, yep, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope I was able to teach you something about how the crafter works. For what is this? Is this video number 4 now that I've done about the crafter? I think it's video number 4. I think it is. So, yeah, leave your comments down below if you feel like you learned something. Think about subscribing to help out the channel. We are so close to 100 subscribers. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything special for that because, my new job and everything does keep me quite busy. I've said that several times in what few streams I've been able to do since I started this new job. And yes, I do still occasionally stream. You can find me over at Natanus Likens on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/NatanusLikens. You can find me over there. I do stream occasionally, and I do understand that some of you may not like what my profile says. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, until then, until the next time, guys, until the next video that I come up with, the next idea that I have to share with you guys, which I do have an idea, we might get started on that here soon. We'll see. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a great weekend. And God bless, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now. I am Natanus Likens, and subscribe.